All right, welcome back to the podcast. Brendan and me are bringing back the good old talking podcast, the Martin Take. It's been what a 2 or 3 year hiatus, Brendan.
Yeah, like it's not. I don't even know if it's been full 2 years. But
well, yeah, I don't think we did.
Year and a half, something.
Did we do it during COVID? I don't think we did during COVID. I think it's been before that.
We might have. I don't know if we tried to restart or not.
Gotcha.
I think we recorded sometime.
Maybe
within the last 2 years. But anyway.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're trying to bring this back, and we came up with a pretty good format. We'd like to give a shot. For the rest of the year, we're going to be doing an episode every 2 weeks about just different alternative music artists that we enjoy. Basically, we're going to be going through all their songs and picking ones we like and then talking about them. So on for today, first episode, we have the Lumineers. I'm very excited about that. Definitely one of my top 5 bands of all time, so I'm really, really big fan. And so the Lumineers, they're basically, Wikipedia would define them as like an American folk rock band. They're from Boulder, Colorado, with Wesley Schultz and Jeremiah Freites. They basically choose the two singers. I know they probably had some past members. But yeah, they're definitely more like an alternative folk, light rock band. So we're going to kind of jump into the... I have my top 6 songs from them and some honorable mentions. I know Brendan has top 7 or so. So Brendan, since
seven and a half actually.
Oh, 7.5. Okay, I like it. Well, since Brendan, you have 7, I have 6. Let's go to your number 1. Or I know the songs are not in order, but let's start with the first one you have on your list.
The first one is "Ain't Nobody's Problem."
Really?
From their first album. Yeah. I don't know. I just find it super catchy. Like you have that kind of like bassy like rhythm in the background going on through it, mixed with I'm a big like fan of like piano in songs, like even songs that are just piano,
right,
like with singing and stuff. So it's like a very like it's a more simple sound, and this one has like the classic piano sound, kind of like the old Western piano going on mixed with the rhythms.
Right. Yeah, that is interesting. I didn't even have that. That's not my top 6. It's not in my top 11. Not even my top 25. Really, that's an interesting song. It's definitely one of their the Ho Hey album, their first one. There, it definitely is more piano, more just kind of more simple. I know as they kind of got along with their other albums, they got more electronic and some of that stuff too. That's an interesting first choice.
I really like the folk sound,
right?
In like small doses. Like it's not what I listen to every day. But I think that one, like, it has some, more of that simple sound, but mixed in with that, like, the nice undertones going on. So, I don't know. It's just fun.
Interesting. That's interesting. That's kind of funny. I did not pick you to pick that one. It's wild. Cool. Anything else from that?
It's a good one to sing. It's a good one to sing to.
Yeah, it is true. It's an easy one to sing to.
The chorus with just yelling out because I ain't nobody's problem but my own and stuff. I don't know. I enjoy it.
Awesome. Well, cool. So my first song is Ophelia. And one thing that is kind of like, it was really interesting with this being our first episode, kind of taking a deeper dive into a lot of their songs. For me, when I listen to a song, I typically don't listen to the lyrics that much. And so to dive down deep, you could definitely, when you're starting to go through the lyrics and starting to look at some of these songs, you definitely get a deeper taste for their music, and you kind of get more about the artist and definitely appreciate the songs more. So basically, let me make sure I have everything right here. But Ophelia,
just to note, I was looking at like going to their artist page on Apple Music.
Okay.
And Ophelia is their top song.
Really? Okay.
In Apple Music.
Interesting. And I was reading another article too about how they use Ophelia, and I know they have like another song, Donna, and Cleopatra. They have a lot of like women labeled songs as the names or whatever. But it's interesting. A lot of their songs are also like based on true stories or something that happened to them, and I'll kind of get into that some of my other songs. But Ophelia, basically, the meaning they had behind that is Ophelia is their. It was basically a metaphor for Ophelia as being the fame that they had. So basically, one of the lines in the songs, Ophelia, you've been on my mind since the flood. Basically, when they started to get famous, it's kind of just like the rush of that kind of came in, and the whole song is really about Ophelia being a metaphor, using that as them getting famous, which is really cool. Also, it's just a really good rhyming song. I think Cleopatra, the album, is by far my favorite album by them. They have a lot of really, really good songs on that. But yeah, it's kind of like you're saying with the first one there you had. It's a really catchy song. And And we should maybe put in like a 10-second clip of that song. You can get a good feel for it. But yeah, that's not my top one. It's just the first one I had on the list. I would actually put that as my fourth favorite song by them. So did you have that one on your top 7 at all?
I didn't have that on my short list, which I'm kind of surprised. That's a really good song.
Really? That's a really good song. You didn't even have that in your top.
It is.
Wow, that is intriguing. I honestly thought going this we would have a lot of our songs being the same, but literally the first two not even on both. Like your first song was not on my top 20, and my first song was not in your top 25. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I will note up front, like when I was the one evening, I probably spent an hour or two going through a lot of their songs, like just trying to decide what I liked and stuff, going through the albums. And I think like when I was doing that, I found that since I was listening to them all in a row, that
kind of blended
eventually
together.
Eventually like there was like catchy songs wouldn't stand out as much because I knew the ones I really liked that were catchy, but then what was standing out more was like some more of their more subtle songs or that like have deeper meanings because I was like listening to the words more than I usually would.
Right.
So I don't think there'll be as many like hit sounding songs on my list, but
that's interesting.
We'll see if we get any closer.
I think what helps with me is that the Lumineers are definitely top 5 artists for me, so I had all of their music very well known. So it was pretty easy for me to pick out my top 5. Like I went through and it was pretty simple for me. Cool.
Yeah, and I don't listen to them near as much as you do, but they're still a band I really like too. Every now and then. But
cool.
Well, moving on to my next.
Yeah, hit us with your second song.
All right, I don't think this one will be on your list, but we'll see. Democracy from 3.
Really? Wow. I actually do not like that song for some reason. It's fine. Actually, let me just double check here. No, I don't have it on my top 20. But go ahead, talk to me about it.
I don't have much on that song. I think it was more unique sounding to me, and I enjoyed it again because it's a unique sound. It was a bonus track from that album, and like it's just basically a reflection on democracy and like looking back on what's worked, what's not. Like I don't know. And there's like again listening to lyrics more right now. Like it continues to have a lot added into it.
Well, I know even at the beginning of that song, it says it's coming through the hole in the air from those nights in Tiananmen Square. Which I mean, we've been to China, we've been to Beijing, we've been to Tiananmen Square, and it definitely is kind of a play with China there a little bit to the democracy side. But now that I'm thinking through, I know that song pretty well. It is definitely, I kind of like it. It didn't make my top 20, but it would be pretty close to the top 25.
Just every verse is packed full of lyrics, like referencing different world events and stuff. Like if it had a more negative view, I don't think I'd like it as much. But it's kind of fairly neutral, like just noting different things, and then it's up to you to decide what those mean to you.
Interesting. Cool. All right. So I'll jump into my second song here. I'm pretty sure you'll have this in your top 7, but it's going to be Cleopatra, the song.
Okay, that's my next one.
Really? Okay, cool. Then that's actually great. We'll just kind of combine the two. Then just kind of jump in when you want to, since you have this song as well. Cleopatra is just the introduction of that song, like I think it'd be electric guitar, is really, really just like has a really good beat to it. But besides that, it's just like the lyrics on it are also pretty interesting. I think it starts out. How does it start out? Do you remember? When my father in a casket, I had no plans. Basically, I think it's a story based on I don't know if it's a true story or not, but someone asking for a daughter's hand in marriage, and her dad had just died. And I forget if it's a true story or not. I know it was basically kind of a more of a sad song, a little bit about just mistiming and stuff like that. But yeah, I do like the beat, the whole rhythm of it. And this is one of the songs I've listened to for quite a while, since it came out in 2016. But I never really paid a whole lot of attention to the music or to the lyrics until this past week. I think the father had just passed away, and she didn't have anyone to walk her down the aisle, so she left. And it's basically, just kind of more of a sad song, even though it's kind of an interesting one. When you were looking it up, did you have any more thoughts on it?
It's a good song as far as sound.
Yeah, for sure.
Super catchy. And what I have noted for it is he does a lot of reflecting on missed relationships and conflicted heart and that sort of stuff. It's one of those ones, like, it's a super catchy song, and it took me a long time to ever listen to the words.
Right.
But then if you're like, every now and then you'll catch stuff, because you'll be like, when I die alone, I'll be on time. You're like, wait, that's really dark.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, for sure. Cool. So since that would have been your fourth song, do we want to jump back to my next song on my list?
Well, I have 7, so I could just go again.
Right. Would that be your number 5 though? Like, are you on to your 5th song now?
No, I'm going on to my 4th.
Okay. Yep. Go for it.
All right. I don't think you have this one, but we'll see. Charlie Boy.
Yeah. No,
the first
definitely
album.
not. Definitely not. Interesting choice.
I love the, like, kind of ghostly, like, hollow sound in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They've got the mandolin going on.
Yep.
In the background. I had to look that up because I was like, I know there's some string, like, it's not a banjo, but it's definitely not a guitar. Like, what is that? It's a mandolin. It's a song of lament and talking about, like, the controversies of the Vietnam War, which, I mean, it's a mixed subject, but the sound just, it gets me. Like, if I'm working out, that's not the song I want to hear, but if I'm sitting down listening to something, like, it's a more complex sounding song, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I actually had that at number 10. Oh, actually, number 10.
Okay, so it did make
it did make it on there.
The short list.
Yeah, the Mandarin. I don't know that instrument well, but I love that feel. I think it's kind of weird for my music taste. I mean, alternative through and through and through. But inside that, like, I don't know if you could kind of, like, the bluegrass type, like the banjo. I love that. I love that so much. And this kind of has like that rhyme to it, which I really enjoy. So that's interesting. Yeah, I had that number 5 on my second list, so I basically put at number 10 through 11, kind of around that area.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting stuff. So the next song I have, my number 4, this would actually, I put it in my top 5. I think you're probably going to have this one. It's Gun Song.
That was on my short list. Did not make my top 7.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's a good song, but I didn't... go ahead. I know. I'll talk about it.
So basically, I think this is based on a true story, basically where Wesley Schultz, the lead singer, I think his dad passed away when he was younger, and he was...
I have a quote if you want me to read that.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Wesley saying in an interview, "My dad had passed away, and his socks were still in his drawer.
Yep.
I went in there to grab black socks and pulled out a gun. It made me think of all these things I don't know about him." That was the spark of the song.
Yeah, and I read that exact article too, and it's just kind of like, I don't own a single gun, but if I did, you'd be the one to hold it, aim it, and make all the bad men run. But I don't own a single gun. Really catchy song, and it just kind of has this one. I have it written down between 238 and 248. It's kind of like that, where it kind of really picks up, and I really, really like it. The ending of the song, things I knew when I was young, some were true, some were wrong, and one day I'll pray I'll be more like my father's son, but I don't own a single gun. It's just really, really good.
Yep.
Actually, back to, this is kind of a side note, but that's only my third song. We skipped over my third. That was my third song, so I still have 3 more to go. I'm assuming you only have 2 more to go.
No, I did my number 4, so I still have 3.
Okay. I have 3 as well, so go for it.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I don't know if any of these, but my last song on this list is going to be ones you have. Jimmy Sparks.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. That is. Yeah, Jimmy Sparks is great. It's not even on your long
No,
list.
it's not even on my second list. Now, I do know the song. It's a pretty good song, but go for it.
It's like, if you're listening to the words, it's like a heartbreaker of a song.
For sure.
Because you have, I mean, that's part of the, like, on that album, you have the Sparks family that is getting referenced through a couple songs. And especially, like, alcohol abuse affecting different generations.
Yeah.
But this one is talking about Jimmy Sparks, a father, and then his son Junior, I think it is. But you have, like, it starting out with, like, Jimmy, like, finding love and having a child, and then his wife leaving him for, like, just not being interested enough in him, or having a wandering spirit or something. And then he ends up like getting into gambling to try to pay for medical bills. Like he at one point is referencing that, like, and that's why he goes to, in the beginning of the song, he goes to a casino with his son and makes some money. And then like the big inciting thing in the song is like they're driving back and they pass a hitchhiker, and Junior says, like, asks like, are we going to do anything, or what can we do? And the father says, no, you don't give a hitchhiker a ride because it's us or them.
Right.
And the song just keeps going on, and you see Junior grow up, and like Jimmy keeps getting more in debt, and like it ends with 20 years later, Jimmy is like in debt to loan sharks. They come and beat him up and take his shoes and everything he has. They tell him like to get them their money, and they drop him 8 miles away from his house or whatever. And so, and it's 18 degrees. And then he's like walking back along the road, and Junior ends up passing him, sees the hitchhiker, and like it says like the father like looks up or something like that, and like raises his thumb or something, and Junior passes him, reflecting on what his father said, and he's like, you don't pick up a hitchhiker because it's us or them.
Wow, this song, you really went deep with this song. Good grief.
Yeah, no, it's the song's very clearly laid out. Like a lot of songs have a lot more mystery to them as far as what they're telling you, or letting it fairly open for you. Right. But like this one, like it's a clear ballad, and you have, yeah, just like the damage of alcoholism, and like one parent families and the difficulty of that, and like a child growing up and being like hardened by their background and upbringing.
Interesting stuff. Wow, that was definitely went about the longest on that song that we've done on anything.
And one more thing.
Oh my gosh! Wow, keep going. That's fine.
There's like a couple different times, because like the things that happen in this song, it's always like they'll, I think, cut around like near the chorus, whatever. It'll be like they'll like say it was 3 a.m. And so it's like always there's something going on at 3 a.m. is like when people are at their lowest, or at the things, like if you're up at 3 a.m., it's usually not for good reasons.
Right. It's the 3 a.m.'s the middle ground between up too late and not up, and up too early. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly.
The weighing point. Wow. Well, okay. Yeah, you definitely... That was the longest you went on any song.
I'm sure you have something more uplifting to go to next.
Well, the next song is I had was "Sleep on Floor." It was the first song in their album from Cleopatra, the first listed song there. And this one, when I was looking it up, kind of had a couple different meanings. A lot of it, what I was reading, is just kind of like them like moving to like a big city. Is kind of like what Wesley Schultz had said in an article one time about. But there's also like I think there's like a religious narrative to like allegories twice within the song from this one article I was reading. Forget what Father Brennan said, we're not born in sin, and Jesus Christ can't save me tonight. So two like kind of like anti-Christian viewpoints on it, which I thought was kind of interesting. And there's a lot of, it's an interesting song. This one article, I'll just kind of read this little bit from it. The narrator uses city disasters to explain the crushing hopelessness of his feeling living in his town, and he would rather face uncertainty in a world beyond his comfort zone. So it's really an interesting this real quick thing. The song was inspired, according to the Lumineers, by young people moving to the cities in search of their dreams, or the American dream. Did you have that one in your top 5 or top 7 or top 25?
I had it in my bigger list.
Okay.
But yeah, that one that one might have been close to getting on. Like, yeah, it's like a young love, like, and you have like what you were saying with the town, like, and which I know I can get some of those like ideas, like of people who feel trapped in like their childhood town or childhood like relationships, whatever, and like are wanting to grow beyond it, but like are feeling trapped. And yeah, no, it's a really good song. It
is, and it's really interesting because like the like I forget one of the notes in the song, just like leave a note for your mother so she know you're safe. I can like get it. I definitely not my like the lyrics don't really resonate too much to me because it's I definitely like where I live and I have no plans moving to a big city, but it was an interesting take on that. So I have 2 more songs to go. What's your next one?
All right, so second to last here, White Lie from Cleopatra.
Good song. I have that at number 17. Good song.
Okay. Yeah. Again, like the themes. I've got a lot of notes on this one. I forgot I did. The themes of this song are really like interesting. And like I was looking up, like trying to figure out exactly what its meaning was, if it was trying to sell you something directly. And a lot of what I was reading is like you could take it a few different ways. I'm just going to read one of my little bit of notes here. So just like a white lie is like a twisted view of the facts that you like change to make you feel better, but can have a big impact when compounded over life. And then like the rhythm and the sound like resonate with me because it has like, again, some more of the like piano going on and a little guitar mixed in. And there's some like electric guitar in the background that, I don't know, like the song lyrics really work well with how the music is being played to like get some of that edge to the way you'd be thinking about, you know, lies that you don't like, of just like twisting your narratives and stuff like that. It's just like has a little bit of edge to it. But yeah.
Interesting. No, that's a good song. I definitely I like it. It's definitely one of their slower songs. I guess a lot of their songs are slower, but that one has a consistent slower theme throughout all of it. And I do like a little bit higher pace, so that's why I didn't quite have it up there. But yeah, I do agree. It's nice and catchy with some good lyrics in there.
Yeah, it's definitely slower, but I think it has a good build, like to the chorus and stuff.
Right.
So yeah,
nice, cool. Well, we had briefly talked about the song earlier in the last week when I was over there. But the song Donna comes in at number. I actually technically had this at number 1. Actually, it's kind of a hard draw, but actually it's my top probably 2 song by them. Did you have that one on your list at all?
Yep, that was on my longer list.
Oh, and your longer list didn't make top 7. Interesting. No. So, you know, kind of talking...
It was close.
Yeah,
it was close.
Talking about... I forget which song you'd referenced earlier about the Donna album, but this album is
Jimmy
Sparks, yeah. This whole album is really focused on the family and, like, addiction with alcohol and kind of how you talked about. And this little excerpt from that I found online, the song Donna, first EP, referred to Gloria's mother and how her lack of love and affection growing up led Gloria to find love in the wrong places like alcohol. And it's just a really good, like, the lyrics. I kind of like the beginning lyrics. It's not the words you say, but how you say it. I saved a picture where your hair is braided. They found your wallet in a cemetery. You told your daughter she was ordinary. And in talking again, like the next, verse there, you hate the name Junior. And again, talking about the name Junior again with the Jimmy Sparks song. Yeah, it's just a really good song. I just really like the rhythm, the beat. It is a little bit kind of like darker, as a lot of their songs are. But yeah, it's just really good. I love Wesley Schultz's voice in this one, probably the best. Like I think his tone is really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole this whole album is just like it is really like a dark album. Like their third album, the whole album is just really dark with like that type of theme, which is fine. That was definitely a really good one that I liked.
No, I think that one might have been competing with Democracy.
Yeah,
like to get on my list.
It is.
I ended up having 2 songs from every album, but the most recent album.
Really?
Is how I ended up with my 7 songs.
Okay, because no, you go to your next song. My last song's gonna surprise you then.
Okay, all right. So I said 7.5 songs. Here's why it's 7.5. So from their newest album, I think to me is their weakest album for me. I haven't listened to it that much, but I tried to listen to it a couple different times over the last 2 weeks, and like every time I heard Brightside, which is the song I chose, that was the one that stood out, and all the others, like they were fine, but they just didn't stand out that much to me compared with the rest of their music. And so then my 7.5 song is Reprise is their last song in that album.
Yeah.
But it kind of has similar tones, like as far as the opening and closer with Brightside. So I just put Brightside on.
Okay.
But yeah, Brightside is just super catchy, uplifting, kind of gritty sounding. I don't have that much to do with with lyrics.
Right.
It was just a good sounding song, and like it sounds a lot more like with some of the more popular music I listen to, but I thought they did a really good job with it, and so I had to put it on here.
Interesting. Yeah, his Brightside was at it'd been about number 15 for me. Reprise would have been number 16, 17, kind of in that range.
Oh, really? So it didn't make your list?
No, it didn't. No, none of the songs did it. You're gonna. That's why I'm saying. Were you done with that? You didn't have.
Oh, so nothing from Brightside made it on.
No, one did. That's my last song. It's gonna surprise is what I was saying.
Okay, all right.
Were you done with that? Just, I mean, there's not much to say about Brightside. I kind of agree with you. It's more.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Reprise quick.
Yeah, go for it. This is your half song, right? That you put on there.
This is my half song.
Yeah.
So Reprise, like, it's a really good closer to the album.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah.
Wesley Schultz described it as a Rorschach test, and like you can see it as like a positive view because it kind of has a positive sound. But if you're listening to the words, like you're not quite sure. Like he says here. Like you see the lights, and is that someone dying, or is that like driving off into the sunset? Like there's not quite a definite like note to what it is, what's going on. So it's just like you can see it as like moving on and like having a more positive light, or you can see it like at the ending of something. But either way, it's just a good song to end the album.
Cool. So then it's going to end on me. My last song is Never Really Mine from the Lumineers, their latest album there. It is probably, I put it at top 2 of my favorite all-time songs by them. And it's really high. It's like the, I guess it'd be like electric guitar through it. Just really, really freaking good. Not much to say, kind of like some of their songs. It was kind of hard. It was interesting with their newest album. It was kind of hard to find a whole lot of like stuff that was like actually out there since it only came out this year. Some of the meanings for the songs aren't really out there a whole lot. But just basically kind of my interpretation of it briefly would be like Never Really Mine kind of stands for itself. That I guess, yeah, love was not designed for time. You were not really mine. So I don't know if it's kind of talking about a relationship where yeah, I don't know, the drama, stuff like that. But they have this really, really good part towards the end. I wish I could play the clip like right here if we can. It was just, it's really catchy, and I put it number 2 of my favorite songs by them. I don't know. Did you listen to it at all?
I did. I've been, while we've been recording, I've been playing some of these songs in the background.
I've been doing the same. Yeah.
Or same. Like looking at the music and stuff.
Yeah,
the lyrics and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked that one. I think like that one was
go to 128. Play go to 1 minute and 28 seconds and play that through 138. And I'll just talk a little bit while you listen to that. That is just like it on the lyrics. Let me just read the lyrics from that part there. It's like it goes from "you were never really mine," and then it like has a little like wait, and then hey, don't you fade away, hey, don't you fade, and he changes the octave a little bit higher, and it just like that little change there was it's so good. And I think that's the best part of the song, and I just like the whole rhythm of it, and just like the electric guitar in it, just really good. Now that you kind of listen to that part there, what do you think about it now?
Yeah, no, it's good. I remember liking this one. I think it got repetitive for me.
Really? Okay.
I think there wasn't enough change in the sound throughout the song that I enjoyed it, but then eventually like realized it turned into background music again.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of what this whole album Brightside was for me. Is like,
yeah, I agree with that.
The opener is good, and then everything just kind of like
blends together.
You're
well.
listening, and suddenly you're at the end. You're like, oh yeah, I like this song. You're like, oh, that's Reprise. We're at the end of the album. What happened?
Right. Yeah, very good. Well, that kind of wraps up. We're kind of getting closer to the end of the time here. Let's just briefly, just don't say much, but just run down through your extended list of songs, and I'll go after that.
All right, so I'll go like starting from the oldest album to the newest. So from their first album, and this one almost made it onto my list, Submarines.
Oh, that's a really good song. Yeah,
so good.
Really good song. I had that at number 8.
Yep, such good sound. Then Hey Ho Hey.
Yep. Gotta get the classic.
Solid.
What made them famous? Yeah.
Slow It Down. I have one here. I like the sharp vocals in it.
Okay.
Like the way he's singing, like almost out of desperation and stuff.
I didn't have that one in my top 20 actually.
Okay, that one. Get that one to listen sometime. That whole album is just really good.
Yeah.
Big Parade.
Yep. Got that at number 10.
Just fun.
Yep.
Yeah. Then moving on to Cleopatra, I had Sleep on the Floor, like you mentioned.
Good.
Gun Song, Angela, because you just got to put that one on there. Gale Song, that one, like I found like the like sound of that song really fun. Like it starts slow and kind of builds, and isn't a real long song. Patience. You got the pianos going on, and that's just like the piano, no vocals track.
Yep.
Where the Skies Were Blue, which
good
kind
song.
of just fun folky sound. And then from album 3 you have My Cell, which I just have noted as like an echoey sound, so some of these unique sounds I like. I think that's all from there. Yeah, and then Bright Side, I already mentioned all the songs on that, so yeah.
Nice. So yeah, that's kind of my extended list is pretty similar. I'm surprised you didn't have Stubborn Love on any of those. That was my number 6, 7 song.
Which album?
Stubborn Love would have been is that the Ho Hey album, I think. Let me just double check.
Okay.
Let's see here. Stubborn Love, yeah. It'd be basically it's this not the Ho Hey album, yeah, the Lumineers self-titled album from 2012. I actually have a bunch of songs.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I'm gonna go down to the list and I'll give you my 2 favorite. So Stubborn Love, Submarines, Dead Sea, really, really good song.
Yeah.
Big Parade, Charlie Boy, Long Way From Home, White Lie, Life in the City, Bright Side, Reprise, and My Eyes. It's funny. I definitely think looking at this, going into this, Cleopatra and the self-titled first album, The Lumineers, are by far my 2 favorite ones. Out of the 18 songs I have here, 9 of them are from those 2 albums. I guess I'd be about split. Then listening through this, the Lumineers number 3 album really grew on me. You know, songs like Donna and Charlie Boy, or I guess it's from a different album, but a lot of those songs I really started to like a lot more. But overall, cool, good stuff. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I think listening, kind of being forced to pay attention more to the lyrics, especially one of my favorite artists with the Lumineers, definitely gave me a deeper meaning and appreciation for them. We're going to list all the songs in the description below for our favorites, and then also our next leg songs. You can see them down there. Also, I think we're going to try to add some clips in so you can kind of give a good reference there. Before we sign off, Brendan, do you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, I was a little concerned since I didn't like much from Brightside that you were going to have like all Brightside songs because they're a little more modern sounding, and you didn't. So I think that's great. So
no, it's a lot of fun.
Do we want to talk about our next artist, or are we gonna? Have to decide that off mics.
Let's. I think we could give a brief idea. It's going to be alternative. It's going to be a little bit folky. Do you have anyone that just stands out to you right away that you would like to talk about, just offhand?
Well, I remembered that I wanted to talk about it, but I did not remember to look up stuff. I mean, I could talk about, I could do something like The National or Bears.
Well, what if we do this? So we chose my favorite.
Or something like Jimmy World or something.
Interesting. Here's what I'm thinking. So Lumineers top 5 for me. What if we would do one of your top 5 in the Head and the Heart?
Oh yeah, that would be on brand with the Lumineers.
There you go. Yeah, I kind of like this. So in 2 weeks we're going to be coming out with the Head and the Heart episode. They would be a little bit more alternative, slow rock, I guess would be a better way to put it. The Lumineers are definitely more indie alternative. But Head and the Heart,
indie sound.
They'd be in your top 5, right? The Head and the Heart, right? All time.
I think so. I mean, it's
hard.
Actually, it's really hard to say because it changes for me. I don't have a very distinct top 5, but yeah.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, join us next time for the Head and the Heart.